What's up, everybody, and welcome to LittleBigKast. We are four players searching for that elusive game-life balance.
So elusive.
On today's show, Jeff and Drew nerd out about meat, while Robin dreams... 800 degrees is right. While Robin dreams of Hot Pockets.
Don't judge me. Microwaves work better for me.
I'm not going to argue with you on that one.
Cool.
Also, we touch on Sony's VR announcement and cross-platform play. All this and more on episode 90, ladies and gentlemen,
huge.
of the LittleBigKast. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. If you're in the chat, say hi.
Hi, friends.
Thanks for being here and listening and everything. My name's Jeff Hawks.
Hey, Jeff.
With me, as always, Mr. Drew Tyler.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
And soon to be Dr. Hazlett.
We're closer
Pretty
now than we
exciting.
were a
Yes,
couple
we
weeks
are.
ago.
Closer today than we were
closer.
a week ago.
Yeah, that's hot.
Yes.
That's a big time.
Very cool. So, no gaming.
So not a lot. Like I don't remember much at all. Like I
Because it was
think
spring break week, right?
we got,
Or are we out of that?
Half of it was
Break.
a break, and then we came back to work. But I worked on that Final Cut project. We talked about that on Wednesday.
Right. Did you finish?
I'd
time?
say I got about 80% of what I needed to have done, and I've got precisely 4 days to at least get to a point. But I think because of the way they worked, it's pretty loosey-goosey, so I sent them enough to say, hey, take a look at what I'm working on. I got 15 more of these, so if you like them, have some feedback, get me back. So I can still kind of plow through
Fluff it a little
fluff
bit.
it and just send it back in there and buy some time. So
What's the beauty of proofs?
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's kind of what it was. It was like, I'm on track. We're here. And then I can
Yes.
stretch it a little bit, I think. But that's going to be a great final thing. Got myself yet one more service calling in the church,
Yeah?
which will eat up a lot of time. She's like, what?
So what are you doing?
You already don't sleep.
I know, right? I have callings at the stake level and several at the ward level, and now they want me to do the executive secretary thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Which
is
just
like,
means that you have to fix everything that four people mess up, right?
or at least get them all set up so that they can do what they're supposed to do. So
That's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. That's going to be a lot of busy days. So we'll see how that balances with life. Honestly, I think that will be the interesting thing to see how that lands with life.
See, I've done a version of that just that one single job, not within.
Not with all the other.
No, and I was just I just have to fix everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be good. Gonna be good. We'll see. Other than that, we last time we watched Song of the Sea, which is just such a sweet movie. It's just cutesy.
If you have
it's
kids
fun.
that are under, 10?
Yeah.
Kids under 10?
Yeah.
Or
6
adults
to
that
10
just
or something.
appreciate, if you're an adult that just appreciates a good quality
Yeah, and it's
animated film.
It's
beautiful.
just a gorgeously done film in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't feel cutesy. at
Right.
all.
I think that's key.
I think that was big for me when I was watching it. I was just like, I don't know. I'm cool with like kids movies and whatever, but I'm waiting for the musical number to kick in. And thankfully, it doesn't really do any of that. It's
Right.
It's really interesting and fascinating.
Solid story, like solid, fresh story about emotions.
Yes.
So really enjoyed that. And then last night we started watching, get this, Swiss Family Robinson.
Wow.
The old Disney classic.
Wow.
And the
with
hilarious.
ostriches?
Yeah.
Holy
We got like
cow.
20, maybe 25, 30 minutes into it, and then it was like bedtime. So it was one of those like, warning, we're not going to get all the way through this, so don't throw a fit when we're done. But the hilarious part was there's this young boy who like just doesn't listen. He gets in trouble a lot, and the very like in that first little bit, he's there with his mom alone on the island while the others are getting all the rest of the ship stuff off the stranded ship, and she can't find him, and she goes out into the middle of the jungle, and here he is luring a baby elephant out of the wood, out of the jungle into this trap he's made so he can lasso the baby elephant, and then there's a tiger watching from the far side, ready to like pounce on this poor baby elephant. And then when the tiger finally comes out and the elephant is caught and mom's like, what are you doing, let's get out of here, and he starts throwing things at the tiger like, get away from my elephant. And Stace and I just realized, we're like, that's little bean. That's
Yeah.
like the littlest bean, like
Yeah, that's-
exactly
that
what
is-
she
that
would
is
do.
microbean.
Yeah, exactly. And we thought, what have we done? Because she would totally run off in the middle of a jungle and just disappear, and we
That's
would have
funny.
no
I'm
idea.
gonna make a trap.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And in her mind, she'd be like, "I'm totally gonna go catch myself an elephant. We're gonna use it later." Like it's just she thinks
I'm
on her
content.
own.
I'm bored.
So yeah, we looked at each other and we just went, "We are screwed."
That's funny.
So sorry, I was a little bit late. I was running. This is the last thing I'll tell you. We did a living wax museum with the Big Bean.
Okay.
So third graders all chose. This is really kind of cool. But their teachers had them all choose a historic figure. that they could read a biography on. They read the biography and then write their own 1 minute life story. And then as you go in, like all the third grade parents go in and get this satchel of money. It's little fake gold coins. You go in and you put money in their tin bucket or their can or whatever's near to them. And as soon as you drop money in, they start in with their speech. And so there was like probably 100 kids. And there was Sacagaweas and Ben Franklin's and George Lucas's and Walt Disney's and Pocahontas and Helen Keller's. It was just, that was cool. Wow. Because they were all like trying to memorize, doing this public speaking thing, and they're all in costume. And my favorite was Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh my gosh.
Who his mom told me he had to like argue that was a legitimate historical figure, because they were like, no, he's not. That's not gonna cut it. And mom had to go back and be like, but there are biographies written about him, and he's very interesting. And this is gonna be way more engaging for my kid than
and
the
have
Wright
you
brothers.
heard
or
I'm
something.
fat?
Yeah, right. Right. That right there should have sold you.
Like a surgeon? Anyone?
I had no idea the guy was a valedictorian. I learned that tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He like and he went to kindergarten early and skipped second grade, so he graduated high school at 16.
Wow.
Right? See, these things. This is what I learned from the Wax Museum.
See, I would have been terrible. I would have like sat there with my little pocket of gold coins and like dropped it in the bucket, and they would start, and then like 10 seconds to drop it again, start it over.
That's funny.
He would have yelled at him if they didn't. Hey, I put more money in. Go again. Go
I'm
again.
an evil person.
Yeah, you're
Dance
mean.
for me.
I said, start now. Dance, monkey, dance.
It was super fun, but that was like my whole highlight of my week right there, was watching little kids dress up.
Very
No,
cool.
that's
It was
great.
cool. It was good. What are you
What
guys
about
been
you,
doing?
Robin?
You good?
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, I have my eyes glaze over. That was my
Robin
entire
has like
spring break.
emerged from the desert.
Yes.
Basically, it was like
Nobody heard from you.
Cut off all contact from the outside, but I now have 40 new dissertation pages. So
40's a lot.
40 is a lot.
40's a lot.
It hurts my hands. But yeah, that was my entire spring break. Yeah, I didn't have things scheduled, but man, I just like my eyes burned. I had my like dual monitor set up with my 227 inches,
Oh.
and it was like.
Was it all paper and all notes, or was it like?
No, it was all. There was no fun.
There was no fun.
There was no
I thought you
fun.
stepped out of the fun zone for a minute.
Yeah, it didn't happen at
So
all.
your life game balance just went all life, nothing but
It went
life.
complete life because it needs to. I need to get this off my back, and but I have been able to play a little bit of Gravity Rush. I've been kind of stuck on that game. I played it on the Vita for a pretty long time, and then they came out with the remastered version for PS4, and
Yes.
I have just been enjoying that. And everyone's asking me, like, have you played Division? Have you played the Division yet? And like, no, I haven't, because
time.
I'm
No
broke and I
time.
don't have time.
Yep.
Oh, it'll come.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually. But and then I dropped a shopping cart on my toe, my pinky toe, and so I was really
Try not to laugh.
no, just go for
It's
it.
horrible and sad, and I feel for you in a laughing way. You try.
That's so awful.
Toe
Guys,
breaker.
make fun of
Come on,
her.
give me a toe breaker, Jeff.
Toe breaker.
You're awful. No.
Ow.
So
Any
yeah.
broken toesies are,
Yeah.
that's not fun.
There's
Yeah.
not a whole lot you can do
Hurt
with
feet
that.
sucks.
Yeah.
No, this semester has been miserable. I started off with a bad root canal.
That's
and
right.
then-
That's true. I
and
heard
then
about that.
like the massive infection, like on Percocet and all that jazz. And then
Did you get any good stuff for the toe?
I got some decent stuff, but really it's just like
It's
take
it's
extra
toe juice.
Tylenol.
Right.
I'm like, whoa.
Robin, from top to toe.
Then it was the like getting laryngitis, and I lost my voice for like 4 days straight.
You have been
And
busy.
now I have a broken toe, so I'm like limping through the halls.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah,
okay.
you should have at least gotten the boot and the little cart that you
I
could
know.
run around.
I
like-
wanted to have at least some visual sympathy points.
Right? Right. At this, like, you can hobble and nobody will be
And
like,
it's just like, you're walking weird.
Yep.
It's like, I broke
Yep,
my
I feel
pinky
for ya.
toe.
I feel for you.
But yes, and I'm having friends come up from New Mexico, and they're going to stay for 2 nights. And so now it's the right when we get done here, it is I must clean every square inch. Give me the lime away because I have fixtures to work.
Welcome to Robin's house.
Welcome to my world that smells like bleach.
It's just clean all the time. I didn't just race through and clean it for you. That's fun. That's visitors. It's
Yes,
nice.
exactly. It'll keep me entertained. It's always keeping me on my toes, but it'll be nice to, bring in. Basically, we've done like Utah recruiting.
Right.
It's like, dear friends from New Mexico, there's nothing left for you there. Come on down.
Whoa. Almost
was a
just
close
spilled a Red Bull on my computer.
That was a close one.
Oh, freaking crap. That would have been a bad deal, guys.
Reflexes like a cat. That gym has been working well for
Yeah,
you,
right.
sir.
This is gym work. So Jeff was
those
telling
gym
us
reflexes.
that he skipped gym time today. I don't know if
I
you
did.
didn't hear that, but yeah, this is a big deal.
It is. Dude, you guys know firsthand that, I mean, you guys watched me gain weight over the course
We
of the
saw
last
the moves
year.
in person.
Yeah.
I did
You
not
guys-
touch them,
you
but I
guys
saw
recall,
them.
You guys recall the Twitch stream where someone called out my moves, right? So
And then you didn't like function for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's true.
straight.
It's true.
yeah,
It
I
was a
wore
long
baggy
time.
clothing.
I'm gonna hide them.
Full depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little bit embarrassed by that. And so
We're trying to get you out.
what's funny is I wasn't embarrassed enough to do anything about it. But so not really as like a New Year's resolution, but a friend of mine and I started working out just during lunch. So instead of taking a lunch and eating like normal people do, and
Right,
like I
right.
was doing excessively.
Because we only
You
need
actually
like 10
take a
minutes to
lunch.
just, like,
You guys go and work
Yeah,
out
so
during
we go
lunch.
work out at lunch. So
Yeah.
we've blocked it out of our schedule. So if anyone wants to schedule a meeting with us during that time, like
Not happening.
I'm not available. I'm at the gym, and so we've been going every day, and it feels good. Like when
feel
I was
alive.
in the military, I was working out every day to make sure I could keep my PT scores up.
Right.
And I gained more weight than Claire during her pregnancy, and I just kept it on. And so it feels good to be kind of getting back into that flow. The problem, though, is the gym is one of those things that, like, if you stop going, you dread going to the gym.
Right.
And if you start going to the gym, you feel uncomfortable if you miss the gym. Like, if you miss it one day, you're like, oh, crap, I didn't go. It's crap. Like, I skipped my thing.
Right. Oh no.
And
Yeah.
so
yeah.
it's really weird. Like, if you're not doing it regularly, the thought of going to the gym is repugnant, like you hate it. But if you start going regularly, it kind of becomes this thing that, like, if you don't get it, it's almost like you don't get your fix.
Yeah.
And that sounds really stupid, and I get that it sounds ridiculous, but
yeah, I
that's,
know the
that's
bros.
the truth.
That's why I don't want to ever get hooked. I just don't want.
6 miles.
I never.
You missed the 6 miles. You don't get to
Yeah,
see
Drew's
that.
been running a lot.
But the horrible thing is that I don't get this feeling that he gets because I only do it once a week, and so it's just
Ugh.
I'm running through
Just
that
punishing
torture and punishment every
6
time to hit
6
the
miles every
6
time.
miles, and I don't get any of the like continual endorphin. It's just
Yeah.
like one time thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm a
I've
casual
really enjoyed
user.
it. It's been good. What else have I been doing? So
Have you played Division a lot?
I've been playing the Division, not as much as I'd like to. Why haven't I been playing? We've just been busy. So we're in the process of trying to buy a house.
Looking
that's-
and buying, like you put in
We
offers.
put an offer out, yeah, and it was accepted. And so we're kind of going through the motions of
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
if it'll all work out. And we're going through due diligence, and all that stuff's new to me. Like, I mean, because I spent 6 years of my adult life in the military, I don't have any experience with homes outside of just like temporarily renting them.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of rented and then moved to the next place, and rented and moved to the next place. And then I came to school, and it's like, okay, you're a student, you can't afford crap, so you're
So
renting.
you're still renting. Yeah. yeah.
And so this is the first time I ever bought a house, and I'm finding it to be more stressful than I thought it would be.
It's kind of a big deal.
But like, I'm comfortable with the home that we're pursuing. Like, the home is cool, and it will have a big backyard for the kids. It's
Yeah.
fenced in.
Yeah.
So like, from the life side, it's gonna be good. Like, give me some room to barbecue.
Yes.
That's my jam.
Yes.
So we'll have some steaks. We'll have an LBK steak night. If you guys want to come join us, anyone
Yes.
listening, just
We'll
hit me up
live
on PlayStation.
We'll live stream LBK
Mr.
steak
Hefe,
night.
I see you in the chat. You just come have some steaks with us, man. But I'm really looking forward to that. So
I'll pour
it's
barbecue
stressful,
sauce
but
on
it's an okay stress. Don't pour,
I'll pour barbecue sauce on it. Just kidding. No,
You don't
that's
do
a good
that.
strat- I know. We
Don't pour barbecue
we talked
sauce on
about
my
how
steaks.
horrible that was.
the last time
touchy you are
the
about
last
your
time we cooked steaks,
meat.
I
Yeah.
feel like anytime I cook steaks and someone brings it up, even jokingly, I'm a little bit offended.
Really?
Like, people get offended by
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah.
people get offended by religion, people get offended by all these like things that
Right.
are
For you,
pretty
it's-
important. If someone tells me like, "Hey, I want to put A1 on your steak that you just made," I'm like, "You piece of crap!"
That's
like,
funny.
we're
Yeah,
not
it's
friends.
funny.
Get out of here! Like, we're not doing A1.
Dude, I
You're
was-
not invited to my barbecue
We're
again.
this close to buying a new grill because we've had ours since we got married, like 2002. It's like 15 years old.
Wow.
So I'm this close to buying a new grill, and we're looking, and we're shopping, and taxes are about ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, yeah, that's it. I can be responsible and take just a small smidgen. It was like
Right.
5% of taxes and buying it. No,
$2,000 grill.
no.
Layers.
Everything, flame and smoker. No, I had found some. Anyway, government sent us a letter that was like, we're going to keep this. Thanks.
No.
Yeah, they're like, you've got some other things that you need to take care of. And so because we're responsible and you're not,
Wow.
we're taking, it was like $3,000.
That's
Not that we were
dumb.
counting on it because we were like, this is all going to debt, right? We're
Yeah.
going to take it and put it on cards. And and then to get that, it was kind of like,
That's dumb.
oh man.
What a bummer.
What that means is in the summertime, when you get the new house, we got the grills, LBK every week,
We
it'll
might
be,
change the faux show.
yeah, it'll be like
Yeah.
a grilling
to the
show.
steak show.
I'll totally have a steak show. I
That'd be
like
cool.
that idea.
Anyway, so gaming wise, how did we get into steaks?
I don't know. I was here the
If you're
whole
listening to
time,
this
and I don't know how
podcast,
we
I
got there.
apologize. This is a video game podcast, but we
It was
talk
all
about
me.
steak
It was
occasionally.
all me.
I have a great love for food, and steak in particular is a favorite of mine. Anyway, gaming wise, I've been
know
playing the
exactly.
Division.
Yeah, good.
It's the Division is awesome. Like what's funny is if I could pick, and I've thought a lot about this. I've been thinking a lot about Mass Effect Andromeda recently, right?
Right.
I have a great love for Mass Effect. As anybody that ever listens to the show knows, I love Mass Effect. I love that story. And I think if someone said, like, what is your perfect approach to Mass Effect? Like, if you could pick the way a game played for Mass Effect, how would it play? And I know it's a deviation from your traditional Mass Effect world, but I would incorporate, because I do like the third-person over-the-shoulder gunplay of Mass Effect. I feel like the Division has that on lockdown. Like their gunplay mechanics for a third-person shooter, like a cover-based third-person shooter, are dang near perfect. Like they're very, very crisp. Super fun.
I felt pretty
super good.
I wasn't super great, but I felt pretty good at it. Like it felt good
If you give
for
it
me.
a little bit of time,
Yeah, like
especially coming off of like some of the Destinies and different things, like it takes a minute to get used to the transition, but it's really, really good cover-based third-person shooter. If I could meld that gameplay with the cooperative story of Destiny, I would have like the perfect game if that was in the Mass Effect world.
Yeah.
What I'm kind of hoping, I'm hoping that the success of Destiny and the Division, I'm kind of hoping it forces EA, and I might be totally blasphemous, and hardcore BioWare Mass Effect fans might hate my guts for saying this. I am kind of hoping that I can play through missions with my friends. Like, that's something that prior to the PS4 was never really a big deal to me. Like, was playing through, cooperatively playing through story modes and story missions. Yeah. Really never was a priority to me at all. I'd play PvP with my friends, and I'd story by myself. And what I really have loved about Destiny, more than anything else, is like the community that exists there, and that I can link up with my friends and we can play through missions. And I think if I could do that in a Mass Effect universe with the depth of storytelling that your typical BioWare game brings, that would just be, that's like
heaven
my dream.
Heaven is on the horizon.
I'm like keeping a special little prayer in my heart for that. So if you hate that idea, go ahead and write to me and we can chat about it. I'd love to be convinced otherwise.
At Jeff Hawks.
Yeah, and if you agree with me, I'm curious what our listeners think about that. Like, because a lot of people that listen have played at least a little bit of Destiny. A lot of them have played.
Yeah, a lot of them have.
Some Division. I'd love to have that kind of perspective and that thought from you guys as well. Outside of that, we hooked up the N64 for the first time.
Wow.
Since I was in the military. Like, I don't think Olive has ever played our N64, and I was digging through some stuff as we're kind of thinking about packing up and moving, and discovered the N64. So tonight, Claire and Olive have started her first playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time.
Oh.
So it was pretty
exciting.
fun to watch Olive get woken up by the fairy and taken to the Doku tree, and it's been a lot of fun to kind of watch that.
That's cool.
So I'm excited. A lot of hours of gameplay ahead for Olive, and I'm stoked to be able to watch that. Outside of that, I don't know that I've done anything particular. Oh yes, I have a TV show for you. If you guys okay, do you guys have Netflix?
Yes.
Everyone has
yes,
Netflix.
Who doesn't?
You need to watch a show called Cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
Okay, so it's about.
Tell me more.
So Andy Samberg is the star of the show. He is Cuckoo. He is an American who has left the corporate America world, moved to like Thailand and just lives on a beach. He's a super hippie.
I could do this.
Like he feels like his birth name is not connected to the universe, and he feels like he is you and we are all one, and his name in that realm is Cuckoo. So he finds this British chick who finds this British girl who is like a valedictorian. She's bound for like these great schools. She's been accepted all these great universities in the UK, and she falls in love with him while they're on the beach in Thailand, and they get married, and then they come home, and like the first episode is her introducing him to her hardcore British family, and it is freaking, it's ridiculous. It is a super retarded show, but it is so funny.
It's good.
Like,
It's a good retard.
Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous. Like Andy Samberg is a hippie living with your most stereotypical British family.
I just added it to my
kind
queue.
of posh, kind of like snooty. With Andy Samberg, it's perfect. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Other than that, that's been my week.
That's a good week. That's good.
I don't
We've been
know.
busy.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like all of us have kind of leaned a little more life than game.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys out there are gaming more than life, just to make up for what we're doing. Right. We get a balance between us. We life, you game.
Absolutely, and that's the point of the show. So if you were turned off by the steak conversation,
No, who
see
can
you
turn
later.
off
But no,
Gets turned off by steak.
everybody
That's right.
likes steak.
Everyone likes steak.
Yeah.
It's
We
cool.
should do an entire. That should be a topic of the show. Like,
Right?
if there was a cooking simulator where you could cook steak and you had to adjust, like,
Better
okay,
than, like, the
today we're
iOS
gonna
one.
today we're gonna cook steak. How do you want to cook it? Do you want to cook it over gas, on
Or
a skillet, or would you like to
I
use
love
wood?
this.
And what are the pros and cons of the three? And I'm like, I'm gonna do wood, so I can hit like a 800-degree cooking temperature,
Sear it
so
just
that
right.
when I lay the fatty side of my ribeye on the grill, it's going to just melt that fat. It's going to be so damn hot that it just rends
That's
that
a great
fat,
idea.
soaks into the
This is
meat,
great.
and then I'm going to sear both sides for about 45 seconds, and then I'm ready to eat it.
I think what
That's all it
happens,
takes.
because I didn't care about cooking when I was in college. Like, you just ate whatever came in a bag or a box. So I think what happens is, as I've gotten older, cooking has become like the one thing that I can like succeed at.
Yeah.
Right? I can make a bowl of cereal. I'm not too proud of myself because anybody can do that. Cooking a steak, so grilling up some asparagus and making it just right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. You know what? I killed asparagus. Grill stories. I
saw
killed
that.
asparagus
I
this
saw the burnt
weekend.
asparagus, and I
We
was like,
surprised
ugh.
my father-in-law with a 65th birthday party. All the grandkids showed up with the balloons, and I was like, "Happy birthday!" Except for it was really anticlimactic because we stood on the doorstep for 20 minutes because he wasn't coming out. And we kept telling the younger brother that lives there, "We're like, go get Dad. Go. There's somebody for him at the door." And he'd go back in the house and he'd be like, "Eh." And so finally, we all went in and just made noise in the front room until Dad came out, and then
That's
it was like,
funny.
"Hey, happy birthday." So I killed asparagus. I cooked beautiful like brats for everybody, and totally forgot that I left
Oh,
a full
bummer.
pack of asparagus on there, and it was the mushiest, blackest charcoal. It was
Bummer, because
so
grilled
bad.
asparagus can be
I
bomb.
know it was set to be
It can
good.
be very, very good.
I never screw up on the grill, but when I forget it, then
It'll make your pee smell like death, though.
this is true. That's probably that saved me then because I didn't
Yeah.
have any.
What if for like old people, for your dad, like the smell of his own asparagus pee would have like pushed him over the edge.
The end of
It's like
the
happy birthday, Dad, and then his pee kills him later that night.
I
I wonder if
can't
that's ever
handle it.
happened.
You
like-
celebrate with asparagus.
No, just like death by like being overwhelmed by a scent. Like it just pushes him over the edge.
You should be around when my cat.
Yikes!
Anyway, we took a
Yikes.
weird turn.
Let's
That
do
does it
something.
for our weekly wrap up. We have a ton of news this week, though, right? I mean, this is kind of VR week. So without further ado, let's kick it over to Drew for the news.
All right, newsies, ready?
dude.
What else you got?
Before we jump into the news, and this can be included in the news part, we should cut out a clip of the newsies, and he's like, "This is for the newsies," and that's how we start the news every time.
This is for the newsies.
Can we do that?
Alicia, you know how to
Or
do
we
that?
can be like, "Let's soak them for crutchy." And
That would
like,
be
that
great.
just is our intro because we know it's the newsies. We'll be like, "Kick it over to the newsies. Let's soak them for crutchy."
All right,
Let's do that.
see if Alicia can make it happen. She's on the cut.
That'd be awesome. I feel like
And-
Robin disagrees.
No, I just kind of go along with
Just
what you
whatever
guys
we
are
do.
doing.
You
This
don't
is
like the
like-
newsies?
No,
She
go
loves
for
How
it.
dare you not like
She
the newsies?
Oh
loves
my
it.
gosh, really?
She loves
I like the newsies.
All right. News number one, PlayStation had a big announcement today. VR release date, pre-order numbers, pricing that we were waiting a long time for that. So on the PlayStation blog, they said PlayStation VR release was announced yesterday by Andrew House. I'm pleased to give you an exciting update on the PlayStation VR. I bet people were totally on the edge of their seats for this, just waiting and waiting.
They had so at GDC they had this. This was an event by itself.
Right.
PlayStation
Yes.
VR was an event.
Let's tell you all the details. So they had lots of people there. What they said is they're announcing the VR headset soon be launched in October of this year for a suggested retail of $399. That's $549 Canadian if you.
Yeah, so basically, if you live in Canada, you're screwed.
They're different dollars, but $399 is about what we had placed it at. I think we had all kind of said about $299, maybe $399 is more likely. I think is that kind of where we were pretty close.
$399 was like our hopeful number.
Yeah, right. Because we didn't want it to go any higher than that. They said mass market price, and
when you see what
you mess with
what it
Oculus.
can actually do,
Yeah.
it's pretty freaking sweet. Like, and I think we'll touch on a couple of these things, but like the television just screen mode, not VR mode, but just screen mode. I don't see it in this
it's way
breakdown.
down. I thought I saw it somewhere, but yeah, it's like a
250-inch freaking screen.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, that's freaking awesome, dude.
Tie in nice
That
and
is
tight.
so
Watch
sick.
a movie like that. Yes. The so a couple of sites, of course, everybody's talking about it, but 230 developers working on content. Like there's a good list already going. They have until October, so I think we'll see a lot of good stuff. My hope is that we're seeing some solid games. I know there's going to be a couple of demos, obviously, but I would love to see some solid games with like length to them, as opposed to like a bunch of little show-offs. Like just like when 3D came out for cinema, you'd go see a 3D movie, and really you could just expect that things were going to get thrown at you, or you'd fall down a hole, or you know, like a tongue would come flipping out of the screen. You know. So
I don't want to see the tricks. I want to see what you can actually do with it.
Right. Take me in the story. And I think I didn't feel that until like what was I saw? I saw Alice in Wonderland in 3D, and it felt tricky. And then I saw the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbits. They started in 3D, and they started to get more like that's the story. I'm
Like
there
it
with
would
them
be
now. Like there was a
immersive.
difference starting
See,
to be
the one
immersive.
for me that did that was Avatar.
Oh, okay.
I felt like Avatar used 3D really well, and so I totally agree with you. I think we're gonna see. I mean, obviously, we're gonna see a lot of stupid gimmicky.
Yeah. I won't pay for the gimmicky
whatever
stuff.
games that are
Avatar
like, oh, we're
used
just
papyrus,
we're just
so
looking
I-
around and it's
So
no.
you're out.
But
They use papyrus
Based on
font.
font, you're
Based
done.
on font, I'm out.
That's funny.
but Star Wars Battlefield, like that could be really cool.
Right.
I know, yeah.
In VR, like if I can be in the cockpit of like an X-wing fighter, and I can be looking like the idea of being in a spaceship, or even like as
Is there any
stupid as it
chance-
is, if I could be in a flight simulator with that, I'm in.
Right. That's what I
Like-
meant. It was No Man's Sky, because I'm not quite flight sim, but that I do. Like,
Oh, No Man's Sky is perfect.
If it's VR, I just feel like
'Cause-
I would almost like sell my unborn children for.
Well, what's
for
funny is I
$3.99.
feel like the reason why No Man's Sky, like it just makes so much sense for No Man's Sky, and they didn't announce that.
No.
I cannot believe that they're not working on it though.
Right.
There's no way they're not working on it.
Right. That's what I'm hoping.
There's no way. The game is too perfect a matchup for it. I just can't. I can't
Please and please.
believe
Please and please.
that it's not something they're working on. But one of the things, one of the criticisms that I think Glenn brought up last week about No Man's Sky was like, dude, I don't want to play a game where no one is there. I'm never running into anyone.
Right.
And I think the key to a game like that in today's gaming world, because we're more and more like it's the same thing with me in Mass Effect, right? Like I want to play with friends. I want them to be part of my experience. I think the way to salvage a game where you don't expect to see a lot of people is to fully immerse a person in that world.
Take them to a
And
world
so
that's all theirs.
If instead of it being just a screen where you're like, I don't have any friends to talk to like this immersive world where like when you look around, you're looking around and you're really truly immersed in that universe.
That would be
Then
the
I don't
trade.
think
Yeah.
then I don't think it matters so much that you have other people there because you're so engulfed and enveloped in that story. So those are my thoughts.
That's what I'm hoping. I really would love to see that happen. I would probably, because I get sick with VR. Like it's just I just get nauseated like nobody's business. But I would find some way, like I would take Dramamine and be like, it's game night, and I'd set up for it and be like, I'm gonna take my motion sickness.
They should partner the little wristband things.
Yeah, right, exactly. The
Along
little
with
motion
this?
sickness
The little
bands.
pokes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I would do, just so I can do. Okay, so that was news number one. Big deal. I'm pretty excited about that. I think we all are. October's not that far off.
Yeah, I'm impressed, especially because Oculus was so prohibitively expensive.
Yes, a surprise.
now
And in
this
addition to it, you had to have a $2,000 rig to run it, right?
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
say no to that. So
Before-
I'm very happy that PlayStation is at least attempting to keep their consumer base in mind. Because this is a skosh less than a console.
Yes, right.
So.
Just and even when they bundle it, it'll still be like $800 for a console and the PRVR. So, but you need the Eye, right? You need the PSI to
You'll
work
need
with
the
this.
Eye. Yep. You'll need the PS camera to do
most
it.
streamers have.
And then they recommend using Move as well. So
Oh,
it's a
whole
PlayStation
set.
Move, the little handheld things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for added immersion. But like, so couple
Got it
thoughts.
all. I'm ready.
First of all, go buy it off Craigslist.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
there's
super
probably out there.
cheap right
There
now.
are a ton of things.
I'm glad that they're integrating old peripherals with
Right.
this, so it isn't like, oh, I've got the Move controllers like stuck in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, here's another thing to think about, and I saw this on a Reddit post earlier today. But if you're thinking like, holy cow, $3.99 is expensive, I'm not going to be able to afford that. Put $15 away a week.
But yeah.
If you put $15 away a week until October, there's your
That's
thing.
great.
Anybody can put $15 a week. For someone to pull out $399
Right.
right now, this moment, and
Right.
buy it, obviously that can be a little bit steep. But if you can be putting $15 a week, you'll have the money to be able to get that and your
That's like
camera by that time.
3 bobas a week.
Yeah.
I should probably slow down.
That's
you measure.
I started-
that's like
everything in
3
boba.
days
I
worth.
should.
That's 3 days worth of Red Bulls for me.
You see?
Sometimes 1 day of Red
Yeah,
Bulls.
depending on the day, that could be one day. That's not bad.
So it's totally doable.
Yeah,
And
that's a good way to think about it.
are you going to cover the rest of the VR stuff?
No, go ahead and
Okay,
add
I'm
some
going
of
to
that.
touch on a couple things.
Yep.
So one thing that I thought, like, the key with VR for Sony is that it's got to be adopted. Like,
Right.
if people are not adopting it, no matter how good it is, it's going to fail. And that's why I thought
going the way of the power
the
glove.
Eurogamer.net article was really interesting. Amazon UK announced that they sold out of PlayStation VR in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Wow, the pre-sale units just went.
They were gone.
Wow.
10 minutes. So it sounds like they are planning a larger stock. So they came back with another update saying that they were planning to have more, but they could not guarantee delivery on launch day going forward.
Because
That's
there's gonna
awesome.
be a lot.
So,
That is
like,
good. That means
speaks to
demand's there,
how-
right?
Yeah. So that speaks to how awesome like the adoption rate is off the bat. They also talked about how you could use cinematic mode.
Which
So
is huge.
You can play any PlayStation game out there. You can play on PlayStation VR. You'll just play it in cinematic mode. So you'll have a screen in front of you, and you can choose between 3 levels of zoom up to like 250
giant
inches
face, yeah.
of a screen.
See, I would do that. I'd
Which
play.
is
I'd
huge.
mount that thing and just lay in bed.
Well, and what's
Be like,
cool is like
I'm not bothering
how,
anybody.
How often
Yep,
do you
that's
play?
it.
How often do you play that Stacy sits next to you and is like, "Man, I wish I could just watch something."
Yeah.
Like she could turn on the television.
Yep.
Claire could turn on the television, and I can jam while she chills and watches The Bachelor.
And you could
My
still.
wife
She
doesn't
can
watch
link
The
her
Bachelor,
arm
I'm
right
just using
here,
that
and she
as
could
a-
hold
yeah.
my arm while I play.
She doesn't. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing that I'll say.
My wife watches The Fixer Upper.
The last
Oh,
thing
I
that I'll say is
Okay.
we talked a lot about how Sony would be better off taking a cut on PlayStation
Yeah, we did.
VR,
We were like, even
Yeah,
if
they
it's
need-
even if they took a loss.
no a loss, it makes sense to get it out there.
Right.
But the word is,
They are making money.
they will be making
At
money.
$3.99, they're making a profit, and that is awesome that they've been able to undercut the
Right, I was gonna say
HTC headset and the Oculus
right? And
by
Oculus,
so much.
they started out. Oculus was like, we're for the people, and this is going to be crowdfunded because it should be like
But then it
democratized.
got picked up.
And then it got picked up, and it just went, oh, now it's a money maker, and then some. If you look at their price point, if Sony can do it for $3.99 and still call it a little bit of profit, what are
Obviously,
they
something
making?
is doing.
Right, what are
they're
they
doing
making?
something either overdone or they're just doing
Yeah.
it wrong.
Yeah, that's the question. Well, how are you doing it? It's got to be different. But that's exciting news. I think that
I
we'll
think so
look
too.
forward to that.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you guys think about PlayStation VR, the price points, the games that you expect to see. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think.
That's what we'd love to know. Let's go on a couple more newses, and these are big. Like the Division news, we talked about playing Division a lot earlier, but the Division, Ubisoft's Division, is taking this top spot on the opening week sales chart, top Destiny. So Activision launched Destiny back in September 2014, and they had about 325 million from the game's first 5 days on the market. Ubisoft announced today that not today, but a couple days ago, the estimated worldwide revenue from the Division the first 5 days of release pushed over 330 million. So they said they set the multiple internal Ubisoft records, and one of the records was for the number of copies sold on launch day. So it's good. That's great news. Division is set to go forward for a long time. That's what I like. I think maybe it's because of we know Jeff, but it feels like Destiny not only like came out but like stayed out for a long time.
It did for
Like,
sure.
and it had longevity, right?
Yeah, the the I don't know, like the game that Bungie created with Destiny had crazy longevity. Most of the people that I played with played the 2 years with me.
Right, stayed
like
through.
we've all played together for 2 years straight, and 3/4 of that group had never played a game together before.
Right, and they stuck with it.
Yeah.
I played a couple games. I played The Last of Us and Uncharted multiplayer with one guy, and I played Mass Effect multiplayer with my cousin, and that was pretty much it. And everyone else has been kind of rallied together, and our
Which is
group
kinda cool.
has been kind of solidified by Destiny, and that's
Have you moved over to
Again-
Division? Do a lot of you play Division now, or is it
yeah.
kind of like
Every all but 2 are on Division now.
Okay.
They'll move over to Division eventually.
right?
And the truth is, once Destiny comes out with new content, like they're promising an update in the spring, which if they ever freaking announce would be great. And then there'll be one more piece of DLC in the fall as they ramp up towards Destiny 2 next year. But I think once that new content comes out, a lot of us will switch back probably to Destiny just because
Just-
of the
right, it's your
growth
world.
aspect
Yeah.
of
You guys
of that
experience
game.
it
And
together.
that's why I want so desperately, like that's why I want Mass Effect to have a part of that. Like I want Mass Effect to have something that pulls that group into it as well.
Yeah.
Because I really do, like I love just playing with my buddies, like getting on there. Like it's this great way to hang out without hanging out, right?
Right,
Like
right.
if anybody out there that's watching, anybody out there that's like working full time, that is working a career, we have a pretty diverse group of listeners.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. A lot of
from really
parents
young,
and-
but
and,
to parents with
yep.
like Mr. Hefe has a kid that's old enough to go snowboarding and break his femur.
That's
right.
we're responsible adults.
We cover a pretty wide gap, and at least when people I think are in my situation, I've got 2 kids, I'm working a career, I'm figuring out houses, and that's real life stuff. The opportunity to hop online and actually play a game with friends where we're working towards accomplishing something, that's my opportunity to hang out with my buddies. And so, like, I really value that. That's something that's important to me. And I'm just desperately hoping that Mass Effect
Yeah,
incorporates
they can pull
something
that
like
off.
that into their next
Pull
game.
that off. I'm with you. I'm with you. Speaking of next games, news number 3. This one's kind of cool. The guys that pull off The Witcher, which we love because it's a
Yep.
great story, great long form story. CD Projekt Red, according to DualShockers, their studio head Adam Badowski talks about an upcoming RPG that they're working on now called Cyberpunk 2077. He says it needs to be even better, even bigger, and even more revolutionary than what the game what they originally set out to do. So the game is still kind of a long ways from launch, but they're talking about it. Say they still have a lot of work to make it truly outstanding. Let's see.
Can we talk about how fun it would be to have the last name Badowski?
But
You think that would be fun?
Badowski.
Hi, I'm Robin Badowski.
Badowski.
That does sound fun. No,
it
no.
would
Let's
either
get through
be
this.
fun. It would depend on you, right? Like
If you made it fun,
that seems like the kind of
I'm
name
Dr.
that Ben
Badowski.
Stein could have. I mean, like Badowski.
Bad-
My
would just
name
be
is
Badowski.
Badowski.
If you made it fun, then it would work.
If you embrace it, it'll be great.
So, Cyberpunk 2077 puts players into the dark future of 2077. Advanced technology has become both salvation and the curse of humanity.
Yay, another dystopian.
Yeah.
Woo!
But knowing how they've handled Witcher and the story and,
Yeah.
and the feel and all the side quests, they say this one's going to be bigger, broader, more intense. I don't expect to see this until late 2017, maybe.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I think it's kind of cool that they're doing that for a next project. I think that's kind of cool.
Again, I can wait until you get it
Right?
right.
CD
do it
Projekt
good.
Red does that though.
Yes,
like
they do.
CD
Exactly.
Projekt Red puts out good games.
Yeah.
I can't help, like, every time I hear Cyberpunk 2077, there is a part of me that like is crossing my fingers and hoping that it has a similar feel to like Transistor.
Right.
Like I was actually going through a like collection of video game wallpapers earlier this week, and it brought up a couple screenshots of Transistor, and I was just like, dude, that is such a freaking cool, like just
Yeah.
such a cool
Yeah.
atmospheric game that captured just this futuristic cyberpunk kind of feel that
And it didn't hit you over the head with it.
yeah, it was just beautiful. I loved it, and I hope that, I mean, the name Cyberpunk 2077, like, is cool, right?
Yeah.
Like it's got to be cool. Like
hope
I'm
they do it
just so
well.
desperately hoping that it's this
Yeah.
really cool, stylized. Like it just feels rad.
I want it
you
to
know?
feel like that Witcher world where it's just, you can just look off in the horizon and just see, almost like Fallout-ish. Like you just see all this stuff, but with way more tech and cyber.
Yeah,
like
I want it to be like
neons
these
and-
buildings with neon lights
Yes.
running down it, and when it
Yes.
rains, like almost similar to
Back to the Future 3?
no.
Blade Runner.
The way that what is it?
We're leaning in.
Infamous
Oh,
Second
yeah,
Son.
yeah,
The way
Second
that
Son.
Infamous
Yep.
Second Son looked
Yep.
like when it was raining. So you know how you absorbed neon,
Yes.
and when it would rain, you could see the neon streaks like popping through the rain as it fell.
Yeah.
Like
That-
I want
that-
that,
that-
but in a futuristic city instead of Seattle. That would be so sick.
Hear that? Can you hear that, people? CD Projekt, let's do this.
CD Projekt, listen up.
Listen up.
Listen
All right.
up.
News number 4. This one, EverQuest. This is kind of the sad news of the week that I think kind of was a bummer for a lot of people. The Daybreak Game Company announced that EverQuest Next is no longer in development. Russell Shank said the game, which was announced in 2013, simply wasn't fun and didn't live up to the EverQuest franchise's standards. In final review, we had to face the fact that EverQuest Next would not meet the expectations we and all of you have for the world of Norath. In a formal letter, Shank said the future of EverQuest franchise as a whole is important to us here at Daybreak. So EverQuest in all its forms is near and dear to our hearts. EverQuest and EverQuest 2 are going strong. Rest assured that our passion to grow the world remains undiminished. But they pulled the plug on EverQuest Next. They yanked it.
I know, it takes
After a
little
long
bit
time of like
to-
development, right? They put a lot of time and energy behind it, and some people would be like, "Well, we
It's
made it.
overdeveloped is the problem.
Birth it, right?" No, they said that's it. I think that's probably a good choice in the end.
Yeah.
I don't know EverQuest; it's not my world, so I'm probably gonna get skewered. But I think that for you, like you think if it was overdeveloped, let it go.
It's overdeveloped. It had to have been, because if you're working on something that long and you're chewing on it that much,
Right.
you can chew the fun out of it within development. Is that you forget where its roots are when you're adding too much to it, when you're trying to get things taken away, and sometimes you forget the fundamentals of game design.
Right.
And thank goodness they had the balls
Yeah,
to
and-
say,
Right.
listen,
This
guys,
is not fun.
This
It's
is
not
not fun.
We don't want
No
to
one's
mar
happy.
our
Video
name.
games have to be fun.
Yeah.
Like it is so much better as someone who like has had, franchises that I've cared about and loved kind of change and get worse and like lose that special thing that made them
Right.
cool and made them fun. Like I've seen that happen in games that I've cared about. And so to see them have the foresight and the guts to say, listen guys, this isn't working, we're going to cut it off. Like
It's
we don't
Right.
want to bastardize something
Right.
that our fans have come to love and appreciate.
force it out there and have
And
like
so-
a scar on our name.
Yeah, I mean, as hard as that is to do that, I can appreciate it. I can appreciate when someone's willing to do that. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, final news of the night, folks. Rocket League, and this is kind of a fun one, but Rocket League posted on Twitter letting fans know that there's another project in the works, and that all they said was March Madness just around the corner, so great time to release or to tease the mode we're working on next, and they hashtagged Rocket League Hoops. Did they have pics on that? Was there pictures of how they're going to put ramps and hoops in there? But
yeah, so they've got the tweet actually has like it. You see kind of this web go up into a
oh yeah,
net.
there it is. It's on our
And so it
YouTube.
looks like you're going to be like blasting forward, and then it pushes the ball up and in,
so you can shoot hoops. That's
which
so
looks
cool.
awesome.
I mean, that's an idea of like somebody that's having fun developing. Like they're thinking
Right.
about things,
Yeah.
and they probably had that on a roadmap months ago, and just said, let's put a mod in there and run this mode where you can actually like not just goal it, but actually get it up and
And this
in.
is where you have the variety within game development. It's like basically all games are put things in places they shouldn't go, and so
Right.
you're like, put the ball in the hole.
right. Yeah,
Got it.
Right.
Just
And
base.
that's the only thing that Rocket League is based on. Put the ball in the hole, but with cars.
but with cars.
Right.
And that's perfect because now you have that much leeway to work with. And so you can have like Rocket League Extreme Golfing.
This
So
is.
just
I
throwing
like where
that
you're
one out
going.
there.
I like where you're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just realized we skipped a huge piece of news.
But I'm gonna add it right now.
Do you know what it is?
It is the fact that Rocket League will be one of the first games, I think, and many others that they announce Xbox is announcing
Yep, that's what I was gonna
crossplay,
say.
right? Crossplay with PS4.
We totally left
The
that out of the news. That's
I saved
huge.
it to the end. I saved
Yeah.
it to the end.
Do you think
kinda
that,
big.
Do you think this is going to remove the division between people.
I hope so. I hope that it's enough that people can go, you know what? I like that console. You like that console. We can still play.
I would
I think-
love for that to
Because
actually
I've ended so many
happen.
conversations where, you know, friends on Facebook or otherwise like, oh, you play games? What do you play on? And as soon as I say PS4, they go, oh, I'm on Xbox One. And it's like
And
the
then
end of our like
it's the end of the conversation.
We're
Yeah.
not going to get a chance to
Right.
get together. This, I hope, would be like, oh, great. Do you have this game? I have this. Let's meet up. Like,
This could, I mean, do you
opens
want,
up that
should we tie this into just a quick topic for
yeah,
the week?
we can go for that
I
topic.
think so. Where do you guys fall on that? So first of all, let's
I
jump
love it.
in real quick.
I love it. Wait, you want to jump chat for a minute and come back to it, or
No, I'm saying let's jump into
Jump into the
the
topic?
let's jump into the Xbox release because
Okay.
this comes from news at Xbox.
yes? And it was
So this
it was
is an
a surprise
Xbox
out of the blue.
weekly update. So cross-network play. Firstly, in addition to natively supporting cross-platform play between Xbox One and Windows games that use Xbox Live, we're enabling developers to support cross-network play as well. This means on Xbox One and Windows 10 using Xbox Live, we'll be able to play with players on different online multiplayer networks, including other consoles and other PC networks. So what that's saying is Xbox users are going to be able to play with, if the development is done to enable it,
Right.
they're going to be able to play with PlayStation 4 users, Windows users, Mac users, right? So what are the ramifications? Like you guys mentioned initially, the first thing is, oh, then I can play with my friends that are on Xbox One, right? So the first question then is, does that remove fanboydom?
I don't think you'll. I think you'll still have. I think you'll still have those people that are like mine's better than yours.
Right. So first of all,
think
we
you'll
have to
still have
understand
that.
you're only ever going to see this with third-party games,
Right.
right?
Right.
Number one is only ever third-party. So
you
you're
wouldn't,
still
you
going to
wouldn't
have
take your personal like.
Right.
This is Sony's baby. They
no,
don't-
yeah.
they should spread that.
Sony's never going to say, "Hey, Uncharted, be on Xbox One."
Right, so we can all play.
It's never
together.
gonna
No.
happen.
But third parties, good
So-
point. Good point to make.
You're only going to ever see it on third-party games, and for the most part, people that buy their consoles, I think, still are buying them for the exclusives. And if they're not, the reason that Sony has destroyed Xbox, I mean, almost 3-1, right? Console sales.
We're way up
The
there.
reason that Sony has done so well is that from a hardware and spec perspective, the PlayStation 4 is more powerful. So if you're buying a console solely for third-party games, PlayStation is the pick. The difference is when it comes to first-party titles. So if you're really a guy that loves Gears of War, loves Halo, loves those brands, and wants to stay in that world, you probably have an Xbox. If you're someone that loves Uncharted and loves the Souls games,
Right.
you're probably playing on a PlayStation 4. So where do you guys see the most cross-platform interactions happening?
I think it would be. These types of Rocket League type of games, the sports-ish type of games.
Okay,
That would be those-
I would agree.
right,
I think you're
third-party
going to see a
titles.
ton of sports stuff.
Lots of sports stuff.
I
that
think
play
you could
multiplayer.
probably. I mean, I don't know that you're going to see. Are you going? Do you guys think you're going to see companies like Activision build this into Call of Duty? Or do you think the publishers are like, hey, we want people to buy this, as many people as possible to buy it for both consoles? Because I know people that buy
have
games for both consoles.
because they have them, right? That's a good question. I don't know. I would. That's a good question.
And maybe a
I'm not
second,
sure.
maybe a second question to that is, could gamers force them through public opinion to be doing something? Like if gamers were petitioning and saying, hey, we want to be able to play Call of Duty with our buddies on Xbox and PS4. I'm buying the game. I should be able to play with whoever has the game.
We've also been wanting to change our gamer tags.
That's true.
So
That's,
just
please
throwing
listen-
that,
just please
throwing
listen
that one
to
out
us.
there.
right. Absolutely.
But have you seen how Sony responded
Yeah, did you see Sony's
to
response? I have it right here. Let
It
me
was
read
kind of their response.
Like we
the-
do that.
It was like yeah, we've done that for a long time. We've tried to do cross-platform things along with like Final Fantasy 11 when we did that. We've been doing it since 2002. They were basically saying something like this isn't new, so don't act all up in arms like, oh, it's Microsoft extending the olive branch or anything like that.
I think they said we would be happy to have the conversation with any publishers or developers who are interested in cross-platform play.
But the word Microsoft,
They never said like
Xbox
will
was not
yeah,
said.
Yeah, they've never said that.
So who was it? What were some of the recent games? Because I know there are a couple games that were cross-platform with PC, right?
yeah, there's been a
Yeah.
few.
Can you recall any recently? I feel like there was one that came out earlier this year, like late last year.
That was a cross-platform.
Yeah. I want to say it was like an indie game similar to Rocket League. I can't remember though. I'm pretty sure we did it. I can't remember. Anyway, we know for
anymore.
sure it's happened, right? Like PS4 to PC has happened and has worked well. Are you Googling it?
I was looking at it, but I'm not seeing like besides Rocket League, PC and PS4, PS3. It happens. It's happened for years, and so they kind of had like I think it was interesting. It was kind of a non-answer. It was like do that. We're open to the discussion.
This is something we've been doing for a little while, but not to.
Microsoft was a little bit more glowy. Like we're gonna make it. We're he had all the branch.
Yeah.
We're gonna say let's do this and everybody get together.
Yeah, there's a level of kumbaya on that I was like, okay, so what's in it for you, buddy?
Yeah.
Why are we going this route?
I think probably just trying to drum up some good feelings. Like, I still feel like, again, like we mentioned earlier, they're significantly behind on the PlayStation side, or on the Xbox side versus the PlayStation, and I think that they are trying to come up with anything they can do to drum up some positive press and get people talking about them in a positive way again. Because last month, again, this wasn't in the news because I don't feel like it's news anymore. The PlayStation outsold the Xbox.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Like, I can't recall a month since it's launched that it's sold less.
Right. It's doing well.
So kind of interesting, guys. If you're listening to the show and you have your own thoughts, if you want to share, again, as I mentioned earlier, please hop on to Twitter. Let us know what you guys think. I'd love to know what you guys think about cross-platform and Xbox's kind of open letter to the world of gamers.
That's what it kind of seemed like, didn't it? Didn't we? We had some Twitter comments on that or not? I can't remember. Because we talk about that on our Twitter, obviously, before the show. So if you do see big news like that come out, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think so we can throw it into this show. Because there was a lot of good sound offs from that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Should we jump into new releases and wrap it up?
For our new releases for this week, the week of March 15th to be precise, we have Aegis of Earth, Protonovus, Assault, and that is on PS4 as well as Vita. Protonovus. Arcade Archives, Bubble Bobble.
Yay, I love Bubble Bobble. That one's exciting.
Oh, Drew.
I just like the idea that you can blow bubbles at people and they get caught in the bubbles and they float up. In fact, I'm going home to get that right now. My kids and I will play Bubble Bobble tonight. I will wake them up. I'm sorry to interrupt. Bubble Bobble totally gets me. No, I'm totally stoked.
No, I'm just like, if I could do that in real life, just like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Right? And they just float away.
Then we got Candlelight going on. D-Generation HD, lots of just letters. D-Generation.
Oh, I get the D-Generation
Pun. EA Sports UFC 2.
Out this week.
Joe Deaver's Lone Wolf Console Edition.
That's better. I read it first time. I thought that was John Denver. Rocky Mountain High.
Joe Deaver. We've got Paragon Early Access, which will open March 18th for founders.
That's
so just
right
like
now.
a day after we publish this one. Got Salt and Sanctuary, Samurai Warriors, 4 Empires.
Salt and Sanctuary is worth noting. This is a very interesting.
Do we know Salt and Sanctuary?
Do we know?
So this is a indie game coming from Ska Studios. It is like a Souls-esque 2D side-scroller.
Oh.
Super, super hardcore. If you're a Souls fan at all, or into a just super brutal 2D
4 out of 5
side-scroller.
on Metacritic already.
Yeah, it's
oh wait, yes, I do know this. Oh my gosh, yes.
Fantastic reviews, and everyone that's playing it is saying that it is amazing.
Like Castlevania-esque, like
I will
very,
be
very,
buying this.
very
Dark.
hardcore though.
Yeah.
Like very dark and very hardcore. Like, and when I say hardcore, I mean like difficult.
Oh,
Like this is
So
like
Bloodborne.
yeah, Bloodborne.
right. That still gets me. I still look at Bloodborne in my games list and I go, "Damn it, was that so hard?" And I'll never play it again because it was so hard.
So this is this
Nice.
is on a similar level.
What a great name too, Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the design.
Yes, and then we got Samurai Warriors 4 Empires, and that is also on Vita as well as PS4. Senran Kagura Estival versus I can't
Not
want to
bad,
say
no.
Esteban,
Esteban.
and that's not it.
Emilio.
So PS4 and Vita on that one. Sheltered, Tetrabolt and Company, and Senran Kagura.
Same one.
Yes, that's on Vita. Tetrobot and Company.
Tetrabot.
Tetrobot. That's cute.
I'm gonna look these up. I'm going home and play Bubble Bobble. I'm stoked for that.
Yep.
That is so exciting to me. Like I will make time for that one.
Absolutely.
Excellent. We don't need sleep.
I'm excited for Salt and Sanctuary. We'll have to check out pricing, and if it's an appropriate price, maybe we consider that for any game of the week.
Yeah, I'd be
in.
cool for that.
Right on. Then, ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up episode 90 of the Little Big Cast. As always, we would invite you to, if you feel like the show's worth a couple bucks, we'd love for you to help us, kind of maintain the quality that hopefully you're seeing a little bit of and hopefully be improving. You can go to patreon.com/littlebigcast. And like I said, if you have a couple bucks to donate,
even for $1, we have so many like extra bits and things that we kind of, I would say so many, but
just
we have
fun
extra
little
things
random,
that are there.
little random parts that you'll get
We
access
did a whole
to.
extra show last week that was just only for them. So yeah, it's worth $1 a week.
Yeah,
I mean
absolutely.
a buck a month.
It's a month. So
Plus
if you want
15
to
if
do
you
that,
do
that'd be
that.
great. And if not, we're going to continue to make
we are.
podcast gold.
Whether you
90
like it or
episodes.
not.
Hopefully,
we made
yeah,
it
90
far.
episodes in.
We'll just make it better.
Stay tuned for episode 100.
Yeah.
Episode 100 coming
Yep.
up. We're going to be playing in a studio, in a like a theater, a movie theater.
We're sitting in Lazy Boy
So
Theater.
we'll be setting up and jamming in a theater. Did we decide what we're playing? Are we going to play another horror movie game or
We'll figure something out.
I don't know.
I'm
I almost wanted to
tempted.
do a tournament something.
tournament would be fun. For LBK Horror Nights, I think we need to revisit that.
Oh, they were fun, and I have people
I've been
that still
thinking
hit me
about
up.
maybe jumping. So on the PS4, there's not that many horror games, but I'm thinking, what if we jump back to the PS4 3 era and we played through like Dead Space? Like Dead Space, you
okay.
got 3 games in the Dead Space
Right,
universe that are each like 20 hours long.
Yeah.
That we could play through.
Okay.
That could be
It
cool.
could be something.
Okay.
There's a number on the PS3, a number of games on the PS3 that I think would be worth revisiting and playing if you guys are into it. But as I mentioned earlier, this has been episode 90. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jeff Hawks. If you want to play, you can look me up on the PlayStation Network at MRHOX. That's Mr. Hawks. And you can follow me or tweet at me or whatever on Twitter at Jeff
Do whatever
Hawks.
you want with them.
Do whatever you want. With us as always, Miss Robin Hazlett.
Well, you can find me at Robin Hazlett on Twitter or Lil352 on the PSNs.
Oh, Lil.
And Drew Tyler.
I'm here at Night 20, KNITE20 on just about anything. You'll find me, see me, hold me, touch me.
Yeah,
Go.
that's the way we like it. Anyway, this has been episode 90. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
being a part of the show, being
Holding our
part of the
hands.
podcast, listening with your ear holes. We love you and thank you. Adios.
Bye.